I think there's something really interesting, the way body can evolve into something more than body and how that carries story in that way and story can be felt.
I'm Christian Eve Jones and I'll be chatting with Jasmine Liaw, an interdisciplinary artist in contemporary dance, new media and experimental film. We'll discuss ways technology is challenging how we explore and express our identities. You're one of the recipients of the 2023 Emerging Digital Artist Awards. How did you find out about it?
It was definitely a surprise. The way the award is organized and structured, it really supports the artist, but also exposes the artist to other finalists who are going through the same struggles in terms of tech and trying to understand identity and diaspora within tech. And it was definitely one of the most gratifying things that happened this year.
You just showed Calling Title at Film Festival. How was that experience?
It was a 2-year residency, 2-year artist in residence with their newest program, Technology and Interaction. It was a new platform to engage and experiment with technology. The project first started with the waterproof distance sensor. Also very interested in waterproof technology as well. Also the fluidity of water in that way and how that coexists and corresponds with the themes that are very integrated in my practice.
What do you mean by queer ecology? Because it's kind of the first time I've heard that term.
Queer ecology is an interdisciplinary theory that is challenging heteronormative constructs in society and how it relates to nature.
I don't know why I think of Grand Canyon, but
no, that's
yeah.
true, because it's something that was very connective to the project was exploring the fluidity of water and the ways water and changes of state are changing from ice to water in that way. The shapes of the mylar are representing how glaciers are changing through LiDAR graphs. The colors are constantly changing. The space is a listening space, and understanding that how that fluidity can transpire into the fluidity you feel within your identity. In the past, I had kind of suppressed the wholeness of myself in that way, and with Plastic Climbs was my first work ever looking at myself as an Asian identifying femme person. I was really interested in green screen and playing with the body and playing with plastic and how it's restrictive, but it's also exposing, thinking about the complexities of my own identity. And I find with autoethnographic storytelling, it's important to share self and art and research to allow time to understand and visualize what's being explored.
What part of your identity were you exploring?
It kind of came from this idea of suppressing my femininity, and I felt more comfortable in a masculine body.
Do you have any tips for someone who might be exploring their biracial identity?
Knowing that you can hold space, allowing time to hold the space for yourself in terms of understanding your language, celebrating your culture and what that means within a diasporic culture. Also knowing that you don't have to make work about your culture as well, because the way you exist is challenging what the culture becomes in the future. That's quoted Nancy Lee, but I think that's huge in terms of knowing that your existence is already impacting culture and knowing that you have like validity in taking up space.
I was born in the Philippines, but I grew up in New Zealand, and I first moved to a small town with about 50,000 people, and my mom wanted me to learn English pretty quickly, so then I didn't really learn Tagalog, and there was part of me that now that I'm older, I wish I knew so I could like relate to more Filipinos. I kind of get left out of the conversation, and I don't want to be like, oh, can you speak English?
Yeah.
I should know. I don't know if you can relate. I want to know your experience and how you navigate between those two identities.
Well, for a long time, I felt very distanced. We never really hung out with my dad's family, and we hung out a lot with my mom's family. My mom is German and my dad is Hakka, and he immigrated when he was 5 to Vancouver. There was also never a mixed person in growing up in school, and so to see that it didn't feel like a need to learn. And for a long time, I felt like it would make me too different in terms of knowing Mandarin or knowing Hakka. It wasn't until I went to university and met a collective called Shoes Off Collective, where a community of emerging artists who are in the exact same boat, and understanding and getting to know the term diaspora was something so close to me, where I was like, oh, like this encapsulates what I'm feeling and creates a space that allows my truth to be true, and acknowledging this is where I'm at in terms of understanding, but this is also me understanding my experience and feelings towards feeling that displacement and feeling inside and outside of culture. My great aunt gave my sister and I our Chinese given names, and Sydney is an autoethnographic research project that turned into a film. So my dad came when we talked about it and were able to talk with her. She doesn't speak a lot of English, so my dad was kind of translating in between with both of us. But it was her tone and her gestures with me, and see those similarities in my dance practice and sound practice and technological practice. It's like, it was like re-languaging where I could understand what she was wanting to communicate to me. And that's something that even pushed the process further, where I was like, oh, I want to connect, like I want to document this, I want to archive this, I want to continue this research and kind of chapter it. Taking that translation into a recorded conversation with my dad and having those listening exchanges to where he came from and what it took and why they wanted to immigrate, to my own migration experiences, my own displacement experiences, has allowed us to connect more, connect to my family, but at the same time it's kind of like scratched the surface of understanding complexities of identity, but also as a queer Asian, what does that mean as well in terms of this realm of diaspora and who I engage with. It's sharing those experiences, sharing the art, sharing the research with people I trust. And that's helped with many different streams of motivation in terms of creating the work, but also doing the work to connect with myself and my family. I think it's really interesting to see motion capture being used in contemporary art industries, as opposed to, we've seen them in motion pictures and films, but to see them in contemporary practices, it's different because it's challenging what the body is, it's diversifying the narrative, it's creating nuances in storytelling, and this challenge to see what body is through a digital body, which could be anything.
If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe and check out this playlist for more artist talks. Thanks for watching.